For the past 2 weeks, I've been attempting to live like a demon slayer, and the only reason is I would love to touch my toes. I turned 39 this year, and I have no flexibility. I want to change that.
Over the last 3 weeks, I've eaten like Mitsuri and Obanai from Demon Slayer. Now it's time to take on Sanemi, the Wind Hashira. I'm going to be making and eating some of his favorite foods, as well as going through his Hashira-style training. This way, I can try to touch my toes so I don't have to buy you guys movie tickets.
So welcome to episode 3 of Living Like a Demon Slayer. And it all starts with the morning routine.
And the morning routine involves making ohagi, one of Sanemi's favorite foods.
Well, this is awkward. Okay, look, I know it's strange that I'm out here at a beach. A Demon Slayer never stops training, especially Sanemi. So since I had the opportunity to come down to California, I figure I may as well enjoy the beach for today's full day of eating like Sanemi from Demon Slayer. And the best part, I already fueled my body with his favorite food, bota mochi, otherwise known as ohagi.
Ohagi is a traditional Japanese sweet made of glutinous rice, which is a little bit different than normal steamed white rice. It's slightly sweet and a bit more starchy, which holds its shape really well. This dish is usually just 2 ingredients, the steamed rice and some red bean paste, because that is Sanemi's preference. What I found really interesting when researching this is that the dish is named after hagi, otherwise known as the autumn bush clover. Historically, this dish is actually to remember the dead. It's a simple and humble dish that has very deep and significant roots in Japan. But for Sanemi, whose life has kind of been marked by loss and guilt, ohagi isn't just a dessert for him, it's more of a memory. It's a link to the family he couldn't save, and this might explain why he's always pushing Genya away, maybe to keep him out of danger. I find it really interesting that Sanemi would rather eat to remember grief and pain versus eating to remember joy and happiness. Everyone grieves in different ways, and if this is his way of dealing with it, it's something I can get behind. What I can't get behind is that I had to eat these at the airport and I forgot to record me eating it, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it. I even got some additional stretching in while I waited for my flight.
But the problem is it's been 3 weeks, and this is as far as I've gotten. Closer, but not close enough.
I took this opportunity to practice with my 3-sectional staff at the beach because I could actually smack into the ground without hurting any flooring at the gym. I had told myself that if Sanemi actually had a bankai, it would absolutely be this weapon because it most represents a windmill, and since he's the Wind Hashira, I thought it was pretty fitting. But this doesn't really help me reach my goal of touching my toes.
Honestly, this is probably one of my favorite ways to work up an appetite. And now for lunch, I get to have one of my favorite Japanese dishes. And I say favorite, but like, I love almost all Japanese food, but this one in particular, this hits different. But there's just one thing I'm so compelled to do this. I just have to do this. There's one more thing. Okay, there's people watching. Let's go get lunch.
Now, one thing about this entire journey is that I don't have a kitchen to make curry in, so I'm headed over to Mitsuwa, an amazing Japanese grocery store that also has a Kinokuniya bookstore in it. Kinokuniya is known for their variety of manga, especially Japanese and English manga. So I wanted to find a copy of volume 23 for Demon Slayer. This is the last volume ever made and tells the final conclusion of the story. I'm going to be giving this away for anyone who signs up for the newsletter over at cookingwithchaos.gg, my brand new infinite recipe card system. You can order Cooking with Chaos, my brand new infinite recipe card system, with the QR code on screen, but I'll talk more about this later. Now, Mitsuwa also has a full food court. Not only do they have Japanese food, but they have other varieties of food as well. But one food that I really started to gravitate towards was this backwards sign restaurant. And no, it's not backwards, I just filmed it incorrectly. This place had a ton of wonderful looking chicken teriyaki and chicken curry bowls. I decided I wanted curry again for lunch, and yes, I know I had it for Mitsuri, but it's amazing. The curry that I ordered was a chicken teriyaki curry. I've never had that.
Curry was technically introduced to Japan around 1870 during the Meiji era, but it was made popular during the Taisho era, which is when Demon Slayer actually takes place.
Now, I have made curry quite a few times on the channel, and it's one of my favorite things to make because not only is it delicious, but it's relatively simple to prepare. You can also make this in bulk, so that way you can have curry throughout the week, or you can even make the curry roux ahead of time and freeze it so you can have this whenever you want. Japanese curry is very interesting though because it layers lots of flavors.
Sanemi loves to fuel his body with plenty of protein, and this bowl of food comes with a lot of it.
This particular bowl of chicken teriyaki curry that I had ordered probably had close to 50 or 60 grams of protein because of the massive amounts of chicken thigh and egg into this curry. Whenever I make Japanese curry at home, I absolutely meal prep everything, so things are done a little bit differently than a traditional Japanese curry, but I will admit it is one of the best ways to make it.
I even got an extra egg for extra protein because Sanemi is pretty ripped.
If you've never made or had Japanese curry before, I'll leave a link in the description with a full tutorial.
If you have Uzui on one side, who's just super buff and super tall and incredibly handsome, you have Sanemi, our short buff king. He's basically, oh my God, he's Vegeta. I didn't realize how hungry I was, so I'm gonna take down this entire meal, and then I have my mobility training, because I need to touch my toes. The whole point of this. I keep getting lost in the sauce and just wanting to eat a bunch of food, but I gotta remember, I gotta touch my toes. I gotta say, I never realize how tight my body is until I start doing these things, and I actually love these new movements because you can do them anywhere. There's always space for movement, and there's always space for food. Like this bento, hold on, let me show you. I got this from Mitsuya after I had eaten that amazing curry from earlier, and it is broiled mackerel, a saba bento. This is one of Sanemi's favorite foods. Let me explain.
Grilled mackerel, known as saba shioyaki, isn't flashy like our boy Tengen, but I think that's the reason why Sanemi loves this food. It's rough around the edges like him and a little bit intense for a lot of people, just like Sanemi, but for him, it might just taste like home. Japan went through a crazy amount of modernization and industrialization during the Meiji and Taisho eras. There were actually more people working outside of their home, and so bento culture kind of evolved. You might have some really elaborate bentos, something like Uzui might eat, but then you have things like the saba or the mackerel bento for people who are just hard at work. Grilled mackerel has always been a staple in the Japanese diet, so it's obvious to see these evolve into ekibens or train station bentos. Sanemi kind of has this lone wolf mentality that makes him maybe gravitate towards simpler foods so they don't get in the way of his training. Mackerel is loaded with protein, is lower in fat, and is pretty readily available. And to this day, grilled mackerel is a staple of the Japanese diet.
But now the problem with this bento is I don't have any utensils. I forgot to get chopsticks or a fork. Maybe some kind person around here has a fork. I'm gonna go see if I can find one.
Now, the second part of my day does involve some movement flexibility training. This is slightly different than just standing in place and stretching because I do have to move throughout my stretches, and it really does feel good in a lot of bad ways. Especially the Instagram pose where you have to lock one knee and put one knee out and kind of push your butt out. That one hurts, but it feels really good. I would have loved to have seen Sanemi train with Mitsuri and do her Hashira style training because apparently the Hashiras had to train with each other so they could get stronger, better, faster. Could you imagine Sanemi actually trying all the stretches or being in a leotard? I would have literally paid for that. But since no one is paying to sponsor this video, I figured I would sponsor myself.
Are you tired of flipping through huge cookbooks?
I know, and my hands in the pages get so sticky. Don't worry, I have the solution. You need Cooking with Chaos, the brand new infinite recipe card system that lets you mix and match different cards to make a new meal every single time. Just combine a protein, sauce, and side card to make new dinners every single time. Wow, that's rad! What does this number do? That's the D20 mechanic. All you have to do is roll a 20-sided die for each category and make a new dinner every time. Don't get stuck in the past and start Cooking with Chaos today.
Pre-order today for a special first edition with bonus cards. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to cookingwithchaos.gg today.
Now, let's find this plastic fork.
Hey there. I actually just grabbed this from you. I mostly needed a plastic fork, so I figured if that's okay. Thank you.
This lady that helped me out was super sweet, so all I had to do was buy this bubbly water and she actually gave me a fork so I could eat my lunch. Alternatively, I could have eaten my lunch with my hands, which is very common around the world, but the problem is I really wanted to eat my lunch out here on the sand. I'm not in Southern California that often, so I figured let's take advantage of walking across the longest, widest beach on the planet to try to eat this food. And you know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna get attacked by birds. Why did I decide to get some fish and bring it out to the sand? It doesn't make any sense, but what does make sense is how beautiful this view is. The reason why I walked out here is because there was no one here.
So I was able to secure a plastic fork, and it only cost me this $6 sparkling water. So, you know, this is what I get for forgetting my utensil at the restaurant. But I'm also rewarded with kind of an amazing bento outside. One of my goals for this entire thing was to eat outside every dinner. And the reason for that is that I actually live in Oregon. I live in the Northwest. I actually don't go outside often because the weather is horrible. So being able to just go outside, touch sand, grass, whatever, feels good. So that's been a big goal. Have I touched my toes yet? No. It takes time. A lot of things that are worth it in life do take time. So for me to be able to go on this journey and enjoy this food and be inspired by anime, which I don't think is talked about often enough. I think a lot of us watch anime and just kind of consume it. And for some people, it really hits home. And for some people, it makes them try things they hadn't tried before. And in my case, I'm using Demon Slayer to be able to improve an aspect of my life that I've forgotten about. And honestly, it's part of my body's health. So I'm gonna enjoy it as much as I can. Now, unfortunately, This mackerel is very cold. Sanemi would just go to town on this, you know, it's basically pure protein. It's actually really tender, comes right off of that bone. That's just a nice piece of fish. I'm probably gonna get attacked by the birds, but that's what I get for eating out here. Oh, that's surprisingly delicious. Oh my God. That is just like, it's so tender and so flaky. Has a little bit of saltiness to it. Maybe they cooked it with some suyu. That's beautiful. How is this only $9? Just falls right apart. I also bought a freshly baked anpan. This is filled with red bean paste. The same style of red bean paste I used on the ohagi mochi that I'd made for breakfast. Maybe secretly, Sanemi doesn't mind Mitsuri because Mitsuri loves red bean paste. Oh, this thing is just filled to the brim. Look at that. Oh, good. The pastry is nice and flaky. Red bean paste is actually not too sweet, and the pastry itself has a little like butteriness to it. That's fantastic. I'm gonna finish the rest of my dinner to finish off week 3 of my Demon Slayer training, and then I have to deal with that guy.
Make sure you get subscribed for the next episode, and remember, keep playing with your food.